All right. Welcome to this video. Chad here. In this video, we're going to talk about intuition. What is it? How can we tap into it? And why most people in our modern day are neglecting knowing how to use their intuition, but just neglecting their intuition, not knowingly or consciously even. Um, but a lot of people don't know how to use it, and it's very easy to just get stuck in the mind. Constant thoughts, even rumination, overthinking, all these logical thoughts, and everybody is usually run, the majority of people, for the most part, are run by their minds. And this was me for such a long time. Uh, Constant like thinking and using the mind to make all your decisions logically, what should make sense and what I should do. It's all based on beliefs and even to go deeper, fears and wounds that we have that cause us to want to try and like analyze things and worried about what other people think of me and what should I do next? Well, everybody's telling me to do this, so I think I should do this, right? A lot of people are missing that intuitive layer, that ability to cross reference with their intuition before making decisions. And the powerful thing about that is that our intuition is always, without fail, going to guide us in the right direction. And it's a very deep spiritual, but pretty simple once you know how to connect to it, um, capability to tap into. It's a capability that we all have that has honestly been clouded or lost, something that we're not taught in school how to tap into. And it's similar to when you have like a gut feeling. Like if, let's say you're driving down the road, like, I'm sure this has happened to me, but driving down the road and you have a gut feeling, I should be taking this exit, right? But the GPS is telling you, oh, like we got to go this way instead. And then you decide to go logically with the using logic. Oh, the GPS, logically kind of figures this thing out and knows what it's doing, and so I'll follow it, and that may be what your mind says, right? But then you end up being like, you get stuck in traffic somewhere, or you just realize like this isn't the same, like this is a different way than I used to go, and I like the old way. Like it's shorter, it's more scenic, whatever it is. That's your gut coming in and telling you to do something that goes against what your mind might be thinking or trusting, right? And so that's just a very simple example of this, but you probably know it when you have a gut feeling on something and then you end up being right, or oh, my gut was telling me that. And it's usually your heart center, your gut. The heart center encapsulates kind of like your gut, your solar plexus area, like around your chest. It's a little bit different for everybody where they feel their intuition coming into play, but it has to do with that gut feeling as well. Like it's very much connected. And so I'm gonna tell you like how to understand what yours actually feels like in this video today. And so that's what we're gonna get into. And before we do that, I want to get into this. I wrote a post that kind of really just lines this out. It's very short read here. So, how can you actually hear your intuition? Most people are walking around the world and navigating life using only their mind. And no matter how intelligent you are, it's very easy to get lost. Some of the most wealthy, successful people in the world have every material thing that you could imagine or have what looks like the best life on paper or in that magazine, but we hear stories that they're still miserable. They're still suffering. Why? Why is this? Because I believe because they don't know how to listen to their intuition. And this is just a generalization, right? Everybody's different and unique. This isn't like everybody. But for most people that don't find fulfillment in the quote unquote success route and what that looks like in chasing ultimate materials or hedonism is because they haven't followed their intuition. They've purely followed their biological mind in the logic, right? Intuition is powerful. It guides you on a path that is actually aligned for you. It places you in situations that actually bring real fulfillment, abundance, health, and wealth. We're all souls that are incarnated at will, I believe, into these physical bodies for a reason, right? We're here for a reason, to do specific things or a specific thing. And to find to uncover and break that shell, to uncover what that is to follow the intuition, which is leading you to exactly where you are meant to be on a cosmic level in your time here. Okay? Far beyond anything that the mind can plan, analyze, or logically ever figure out. Okay? It's very much different than that. And so I believe that this is the only way to truly be confident in our decision-making process too. Like I'm going to tell you a bit of my story and everything, but to be able to cross-check with your intuition is a skill that innately we have, and I'm going to show you how to tap more into, but because we just haven't become aware as a collective enough about this. Okay, it's a deep spiritual capability we're all born with, but in the modern world, it gets trained out of us. It's something with the school system or something like that. I don't know exactly, but it's just not taught, right? I don't know if it's deliberate or, maybe it is because, society is kind of designed to funnel our energy and kind of hijack our decision-making process to do specific things that kind of like support the benefit of other people instead of where we're actually meant to be, right? And so here's how to take it back. And so we're going to do an exercise in this video. I want you to just get comfortable for a bit and just take a couple deep breaths. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I've experienced this as we go about this. So deep breaths. Very present. Just kind of like let yourself just kind of like if the water, like if there's mud at the bottom of like an empty puddle and you like shake the puddle, like the mud gets everywhere. Let's let the mud, in analogy for all the thoughts or anything, just kind of sink without having to like make shift or even try and stop anything from happening. Just like an allowing, a letting go of just letting things settle a bit. You may have some mind chatter going on, and that's okay. Send some appreciation to your mind and just kind of send it some love, like a feeling of appreciation. Say, I appreciate you for always trying. I know you're trying to keep me safe ultimately. You don't want to have a bad relationship with your body or your mind. Send some gratitude to it. That's very important and healthy. Okay. Step one in this process you are already completing right now is becoming present with yourself. Becoming present to be aware of, hey, what's going on in my mind? And allowing yourself to just fall into a little bit what it feels like to be in your body. Okay? And that's step one. Okay. And then step two is to think of a situation, think of a scenario or any situation that you want to get clarity on. Okay? In your life right now. Maybe it's if you should quit your job. Maybe it's if you should get a different job. Maybe it's if you should move out. Maybe it's should I go out this weekend? Whatever it may be, okay? Pick a scenario that you want to get clarity on, that you want ultimate confidence on how to, and that you're making the right decision with it. Okay, pick one. And then for me, I'll give an example of when I was making a very tough decision of leaving my job that I was at for almost 2 years, like a corporate environment job, which I'm grateful for. I'm not saying anything against it, but I made a big decision to leave it because it started to, at a certain point, become out of alignment, and I started to feel my intuition coming out to tell me that gradually, okay? But I wasn't listening. And so I learned this practice through a mentor of mine. It's a very valuable tool that I have for the rest of my life now, and I want to kind of share it in this video. So pick a scenario, and once you're clear on that scenario, then we'll move on to the next step. Okay. Next step. Okay, think of yourself, for this example, is leaving the 9 to 5, leaving the corporate job I was in, okay? I'm picturing that. The next step is to picture the scenario. Picture yourself in the act of doing it. And then notice what your mind says. For me, my mind was saying all kinds of things. It was saying, are we going to be that stupid to leave a job that's paying us so much? We've been here so long. We've built so much here. What are people going to think? How do I explain it to people if I feel like I want to leave? Like, let me just be realistic. Like, there's too much risk involved in doing that. Why would I throw something away that's such a desirable position to be in? All this stuff was going through my mind, right? And so I'm helping you get an ability of discerning what's in my mind. What is that going on there in my mind? Okay. So usually it sounds kind of like that, like it operates a lot on what you should do or what you believe is the right thing to do logically, or what your parents have told you, what school has told you, what everything has told you. And to be quite honest, the brain is very easily brainwashed, you could say, over time. And it's not our fault, but a lot of our upbringing, we're in a very vulnerable, open state to mirror what's around us and to just take as true what we're taught from parents or school, whatever. And so it absorbs that and kind of locks in that way of functioning until we can alter and do deep work to rewire it. And until we can tap into our intuition, really, is the only thing you need to do. You don't need to like do any rewiring. It'll naturally happen as a result of following your intuition. Okay? So this next step now, after we kind of get an idea of what's going on in the mind, and you can pause this video and kind of, allow whatever comes up there to happen. The next thing is to take the same scenario, picture yourself in the act of doing it. Now, what do we feel around our chest area, around our gut area? What does it feel like as we envision doing that? Now, for me, it was very specific. I felt like a warmth arise, almost an excitement, like my cells were kind of vibrating a little bit more excitedly throughout my arms. But there was a warmth, like almost if you've ever seen an electric stove, how you turn it on and it slowly just gets red and red and red. That's what it felt like. It felt like, as I was picturing it, even though my mind was still going, no, like let's be realistic, logic. I felt the warmth here. And it's usually you can put words to it. You can put that it's a good feeling. It feels right. It feels right. It's your gut telling you, this is right. Right? And so that's what this felt like for me. And to go even deeper, what does it look like? This is when we start going deeper into getting like a psychic reading. This is how people give psychic readings to yourself when they're able to tap into an energy, because that's what this is. It's your heart center. It's an energy. Okay? So what does it look like? For me, I started to get a visualization and a feeling of energy flowing, like almost in a loop. Like it was flowing. It was coming out from the top of my gut, or stomach, and it was flowing and then dispersing back down to the bottom, like around my chest. And I still had the warmth there. And you can go even deeper into getting what kind of color do you see, all of this stuff, very deep stuff, okay? But you don't need to go that deep to start getting a feeling and sense, oh, this is my intuition and this is what it feels like when something is right, you know? Okay? So that's very powerful, and you can pause this video if you want to get a better sense of deepening that feeling. And you can think about the color, the temperature, any other sensations that are attached to it, shapes, right? Okay. And so the next step in this process is the reverse of this. Is okay, well, let me think of what it would, the opposite of what this scenario is I'm thinking. And maybe for you, when you pictured this scenario, you were getting the reverse. Maybe you were getting the wrong feeling. And that's what I'd recommend, is picking something that picking something like that's the opposite. So let's say for me, it was picking the staying in the job I was at for a prolonged period of time. And so I visualized that scenario and was present with it. And I felt a constriction. I felt like almost if someone was squeezing my windpipe. It was a constriction. It was a suffocation almost, it felt like, for me. Very subtle, not that extreme to where it was literally yanking at me, right? It was a very subtle constriction. I didn't have that excitement in my cells. It was very clear to put words to it that was not, it wasn't the right thing. It wasn't needed, right? And so your mind may even have fear. I still had fear mentally. Fear, well, what's really going to happen? Like, what am I going to do? Like, what else am I going to do? Am I going to take this risk and not make as much money and take what looks like a step down? What are other people going to think? What am I going to tell them? Like, I'm scared. What if this fails and I have no money and then I have to go into debt, right? Intuition's never going to lead you wrong. It's never going to lead you in a place to where you're not going to be taken care of. And that's a core belief that I hold and that everybody should hold, because if you live in alignment with your intuition, the universe rewards authenticity. You are not going to be, it's as simple as that, I believe. You are not going to be left high and dry. And this path is going to lead you to actual true abundance and fulfillment. And even you might go to a pocket of what it's called void state, where you're going to have to shed old patterns and things might come falling down that was built on top of a foundation that was just mind and logic and inauthenticity or misalignment. Okay, that it might take a little bit to rewire and reorient and shift to a new resonance to where you're actually vibrating with new opportunities in a more effortless way. The right opportunities, as you shift your resonance, you become an antenna to attract these opportunities that will come your way. And so for me, yes, new opportunity, new clarity just happened to literally quite come my way. It was obvious what to do. It wasn't that I had to sit in a room and think about it all day. My intuition guided me. And so I'm very grateful to have this experience and tap into this capability again and have this accessible, right? And I want to make more people accessible to this, because this is something that it's honestly not taught as enough, and it's not practically taught enough. And so test this out. I'd say the last step of this process is to go about your life and start doing that, picturing, start cross-referencing with your mind and with your intuition, what your mind's saying with your intuition whenever you're making a small decision, a big decision. Don't only think about it. It's okay to think about things and get an idea and imagine what's going to happen and all this stuff, but you have to cross-reference it with your intuition to make sure that it feels right and it's aligned, and you really can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong, and I believe this is the path to true fulfillment and abundance, and being in line with what you're supposed to do here. Okay, so that's it for today. Very insightful. I enjoyed explaining that. Hopefully you felt a level of depth from that, and hopefully you have a tool now that you can take deeper. If you want to check out my writings, I write a little bit on Substack, link below. If you feel called to wanting deeper, help or anything that, if you want help with anything deeper in a more one-on-one basis, I have a link for that too if you want to book a call with me. Otherwise, I hope to see you in a future video, and I hope you found value. Let me know in the comments if you did. And I'll see you soon. So take care. Peace. Bye.